Hello, my name's Deathnor, and I'm going to be doing a Let's Play Dominions 4. I'm going to be doing it at impossible difficulty. Before we get started, I'm going to go over a couple things here, such as the nation I will be choosing, as well as which mods I'm going to be using. Let me go ahead and actually start off with the mods. I'm going to be using Underwater Expanded, the Rainbow Balance Pack, which is for most of your Dom 1 pretenders that are all but useless for the most part. In the same vein, you have the Monsters and Messengers Balance Pack. This increases the viability of most of your Dom 2 gods, which outside of your dragons, your Western dragons, are fairly useless. I'm using Yukari's Minimalist Yomi Balance mod. It's my favorite of the Yomi mods. I think it still needs a little bit of work, a little bit more balancing, but it's definitely better than the Yomi Vanilla. And of course, Worthy Heroes. Worthy Heroes is excellent. A favorite mod for pretty much the whole community. Alright, now we're going to actually pop in and look at EA Agartha. So, what we're doing here is I'm just going to go over, I know what I'm personally building already, but I'm going to go ahead and lay some of this out. You've got your 3 spells, which are going to be your first priority here in Conjuration: Rock's Pact, Barthas Pact, and Bind Penumbral. It's not that Cavern Wights are bad. You can actually use far less mages to get them out, and you get 3 for 8 gems. I myself like the Penumbrals. It takes many more death mages to do, but a 1-for-1 is not bad at all. As far as other national spells, you have Bind Umbral, twice as strong basically as a Penumbral. Takes 2 gems instead of 1. They're like 60 hit points instead of 30. Just a bigger version of the Penumbral. Up next, we've got Alteration, way down here at the bottom. Unleash Imprisoned Ones. I will be building my god to specifically cast this. I'll go ahead and read it over real quick. Since the founding of Agartha, there has been a forbidden chamber under the roots of the earth. Agarthan legend tells of 3 dark gods of an earlier age in prison with the help of the first Pale Ones. The seal was strengthened with the souls of thousands of Pale Ones who gave their lives to protect the world from the imprisoned ones. Now the seal seems to be weakening, and there are rumors of a crack in the seal. Some oracles of the dead have heard silent whispers in their dreams, whispers of a promise to spare the Agarthian people if the imprisoned ones are released. The oldest and most influential of the oracles of the dead has spoken against it, but desperate times need desperate measures, and the whispered promise has not been forgotten. This is basically my keystone. This is my victory condition right here. I may not get quite that far, but that is basically what I'm looking for. And here we actually have another summon in the enchantment tree. I will be picking this up at some point. Much later than the other ones. It doesn't have nearly the efficiency of the other ones. It happens to be by itself at enchantment 4 here. So I have quite a few other things I'll be using, but I'll eat the water gems pretty quickly when I finally get it rolling. Shouldn't be anything in Thaumaturgy at all. Okay, so that's just kind of a quick look at my national spells. I'll be going Conjuration 3, Alteration 2. I always like to have Earth Meld with all of my Earth 2 mages out there, if nothing else. And it's very easy to jump over and pick up if needed. Evocation, probably to 6. Here I'm aiming for Magma Eruption. And then I'm going to be swimming into Enchantment at least 4. But my early is going to be Conjuration 3. That is the main point that I have to hit and get rolling as quickly as possible. Now, like you would do for any nation, you go in and you kind of check your troops to see what you're building. Here's your basic scout, your basic leadership guy, who actually has a 60. One thing I guess we should go over is the special abilities of Agartha. Amphibian. they fight underwater just as well. You can always grab water provinces. They have no need to eat. Supplies don't matter. They're cold-blooded. They prefer the warm provinces. They're going to get a lot of extra fatigue in the cold provinces. Siege bonus. They are giants, actually, and they deal a hefty amount of damage. With the high strength of the units overall, along with the siege bonus, I would say they are probably the fastest nation for taking major cities out. And then dark vision. One-eyed cyclopses living deep under the ground, they just don't see so well out in the light. However, they do see very, very well in the dark. It kind of makes up for it. If you look through their stats, your attack skill and defense skill are actually below human average on these guys. For all of your guys, you're really going to want to try to take advantage of this to actually bring your stats up above your opponents at some point. As you can see, their basic troops are size 3, which aren't quite giants. Size 2 is your human. But when you get over here, these guys are your size 4. They're giant-sized. I won't be using these for the most part. They're not bad. This one is probably about your best. Obsidian Glaive. It actually has a 30... magical damage off of it. Not a bad guy at all. Fairly expensive, and again, your stats are, you're looking at an attack skill of 10 and defense of 10. You can try to major bless these guys if you want. I don't see a whole lot of point in it. They're very expensive, and the survival you get out of them just isn't there. It just really isn't there. Here's your other cap-only sacred, Mind Blasters. Mind Blasters are basically a 100 range, 100 precision, they automatically hit. The thing is that magic resistance negates. Now if it doesn't negate, it's 1 damage, armor negating. What that means is it ignores armor. It's going to deal at least 1 damage as long as it's not resisted. And then on top of that, it's actually going to paralyze them. What that means is they can't attack back, they can't move, they can't block, so these pathetic skills here don't matter nearly as much when you have enough of these archers in the back, basically paralyzing a large portion of your opponent's army. Troglodyte, size 4 trampler, pretty nice. They're in low recruitment. I will not be using these. However, I think these are a fairly solid unit, a little hard to get working, but nothing bad. As far as your troops, your Cavern Guard is by far your best. Morale 12 is great. The protection of 13 is great. The problem is, he's also got a glaive, which is very good. It's got the pierce damage, which is about your best. Is the movement. He's got a map move of 1. Nothing else in the nation has a map move of 1, which means if you take these guys, you're drastically slowing the rest of your armies down. Sometimes I like to use a couple for expansion, because they really are not a bad unit. But they really do start hindering you if you need to be doing any sort of positional stuff at all. Other than that, I will basically be trying to recruit these guys mostly. But a lot of times I will be falling back on the lesser ones with the lesser resources here. The 7 goal version, not very good. This guy is not very good, especially when you can get this guy. He's at least got a buckler, which for 2 more resources is pretty good. Makes this guy pretty much worthless. So I think that's about it. I guess we can take a look at these guys. Again, here's all your sacreds. These are non-cap only. Boulder throwers. It's a range 6. If you can up their attack strength, maybe like a minor blood or something, you can get a little more. Boulders are their strength divided by 3 for their range. So if you can up him to even 1 more point, like minor blood, he starts throwing at 7. It gets better and better. I just don't see the point in trying to bless them. They're not nearly good enough. Stone Hurler, same guy, little more armor. Then you have your Ancient One, who is really not too bad. Low attack skill, okay defense. You can try to do a bless strategy, but I'm not going to even begin to try that. I won't be recruiting hardly any of those. Back to my commanders, Troglodyte Lord. I sometimes get these and do like a very light thug with them, depending on who I'm fighting and what PD I think I'm facing. Overall, I don't recruit many of them. Ancient Lords I recruit none of. Same leadership as your, no, I'm sorry, he has 60. This guy has your 80 plus Inspirational 1, but for 135 gold for a leader, that's very expensive on top of the mage turn, or the 4 turn to pick him up. Engravers are your basic lab rats. They get a +2 adept, 70 gold for 9 research, not bad, and you will be needing it. Here is your battle mages, 2 earth with either a fire, a water, or a death. The nation overall is pretty self-contained. These also have fortune tellers if you'd like to try to use like a single or 2 points in misfortune. It's doable. Then you have your oracles. Your oracles are like your little guys, except for they've got big earth, and you have a water version, a fire version, and of course the death version. All of them have the same random, 100% of either death or earth, and a 10% on that. 10% you're never really going to get. When you get one, you kind of kick them aside because you want to keep that guy for specific uses later, probably. And then you have your Ulm Sage, another Mind Blaster leader. 2 water though, but his slots are really off. He'll never be able to get up to water 4. Water 3 is your best because you're never going to wear the Robe of the Sea. No body slot on him. Alright, I think that basically covers the nation. Let's go ahead and pop out and go ahead and get a game rolling here. As far as maps, love this map. Love this map. It makes some use in the center here of mountain passes, which I think is highly underutilized, and many of the maps need to be updated to work with better. I'd like to see some valleys and some maps that are basically a single block through, but you could cross the mountains all across there. It would be very nice. They already use the rivers to good extent in many maps. I just think that the mountains could be used much more effectively. I like lots of cave provinces, but spread out and not really networks of them. This would probably be my other favorite map, which I am not going to be doing. A little bit bigger. It's a little more powerful for Agartha. You can recruit your Mind Blasters in any cave, and having the whole network of them here is just amazing. But I think we're going to go with Bidian here. A lot of times, though, I will actually random a map. It'll almost always give you a cave to start in, and it might sprinkle a few across the map as well. Sometimes the computer makes horrible decisions, so I don't think I'm going to do it this time. Be nice if I could spell, but I can't, so we'll just do it that way. I'm going to be taking the Pell ones and 4 opponents. I like to do games that are bigger than this, but as I'm going to be trying to do a Let's Play, I'd like to keep it down to a relatively sane amount of turns. In the dark caverns under the roots of the earth, a strange kind of one-eyed humanoids has evolved. Untouched by the sun, they have become known to humans as the Pell Ones. The Pell Ones are gifted with perfect dark vision and gills and inhabit underwater rivers and lakes, as well as cavernous halls. Pell Ones never stop growing, and Ancient Ones can grow to huge proportions. The wisest of the Ancient Ones are known as the Oracles, priest mages of great power. The Oracles are gathered in great cavernous hall where they divine the fate of the Pell Ones. Since we've already went through and looked at the nation, I just read the text just because. I'm going to be going with the Titan of the Underworld. Generally speaking, a piece of advice is this guy to here. Never take any of these pretenders. These are your Dom ones, which might seem like they are better, but to actually raise your Dom up to a sane score, minimum of 6, 8 is normal. You're actually paying a buttload more for these guys right here. than what you would. The only one I think I will talk about is the Great Sage. He actually has some uses. Is a research booster right in the beginning. The mod helps these out quite a bit to where they are not completely insane to take, but I still think they are rather uninspired. Anyways, back to my guy. We're going to be going with a Dom of 8. That is pretty normal. Another little tip here. Dormant. Always go dormant. If you're going to wake, you have to have something that your pretender can go out and do starting on turn 2. Very few of them have any uses. Going imprisoned means 3 years without your god. Your nation basically has to discount him out of the plans. He's either giving you a double 9 bless, major blessing, without horrible skills, or something to that effect to go imprisoned. Dormant is basically your best bet normally. I'm not saying there's not reasons to take awake or imprisoned, but you have to have a specific reason to do so. We're going to be going 5-4. My spell actually is 6-4, but I'll be just making a pair of boots for him. We're going to be picking up a whole lot of income, and since we are cold-blooded, we're going to be picking up 2 heat skills. As a whole bunch of my mages are going to be spending turns casting, summoning up guys every turn, I really consider magic to be very good. And I'm actually going to be picking up a sloth skill to pick up a 3rd one. You can almost call this the core build right here. And just say you have 81 points and can mess around with it as you feel needing, as you need. But this right here is my preferred build. We're going to go ahead and go with that. I sometimes bump this up to 50. 45 is about the minimum I like to take. I'm going to go ahead and go up to 50. Random events, I always go to common. If you kind of want to cheat the game, you can pick up your misfortune skills and leave it at rare. Most players play with it common, and if you just don't want to have random events affecting your game, that's about the best you can do, is turn it to rare. Story events disabled, I am going to leave that disabled. I don't care about the graphs. Many people like to see where they're at in relation to the other players. I do not. Hall of Fame for 5 players, 10 is fine for me. Thrones, definitely not. I think I'm going to go with... let's try 3, 5. That would be 7 points. Let's go ahead and grab 8 of these little tier 1s. I like lots of thrones. I think it makes the game more interesting, and I'm going to go with a 3, 4, or 2/3 victory condition, 10 out of 15 points. Alright. I think that is about it. I'll go ahead and flip on renaming just because I like to do that. Sometimes I'll rename my guys. Alright, and here we go. First turn. That's all you want right there. Always profitize your scouts, even if you plan on expanding with your profit. Many times he'll survive later into the game, and then you can start stealthing off. Okay, I guess that's about the length of the video I want to grab right here. I'm going to go ahead and actually cut it off before we really get into the game, and we'll go ahead and get into the expansion and everything next turn. See everyone next time.